Some of you history buffs in the audience might appreciate the reference, but the Open Games license was to the role playing game community as the Maginot Line was to France, and Wizards of the Coast tanks quite quickly stormed over that thing, and now they're building their own Fortress Europe out of its remains. And apparently, the response is to dig another trench to have everyone try to huddle in, as if that's going to work again. Hi, folks, it's your old pal King Waspinator. Welcome back to Total Party Skills. Comment on an older video from, I guess, a newer viewer asked if I was going to be putting the Total Party system on the O.R.C. And, no, I mean, it doesn't exist yet. It's just an idea still. Like, they might have some ideas as to what it's going to look like, but it ain't out there yet in official form. So I can't speak to exactly what it is yet and whether or not I might decide to do so, but probably not, and very unlikely not. I don't really have any reason to, as far as I can see. Is Modifius going to be on the O.R.C? Is Palladium? Is Artalsorian? Cataclysm? Or Catalyst? Catalyst, that was it. Catalyst Games. They're the one doing Mech Warrior now, since it's not FASA anymore. Are any of the Steve Jackson, is GURPS going to be on the O.R.C? I don't believe, to my knowledge, that any of the role-playing game systems that are clearly divorced from Dungeons and Dragons rules and styles are having to sweat any of this at all. I noticed the other morning on Twitter, while dipping in and out on Twitter to post a link, that Modifius had shared a meme of, a Picard meme where he's all like, oh, why are you even playing that Dragons game? It wasn't a very funny meme, but I thought it was amusing in and of itself, though, that they're just chilling there on Twitter, kind of just taking advantage of this chaos that this other company's having, and that doesn't affect them yet. But the O.R.C thing, do we really need that? Do we really need the Creative Commons version of the D&D rules? Doesn't this teach people, pick up on the idea that this is the time to just get away from this stuff? We're fighting yesterday's battles with yesterday's tools, but things are different. In many ways, I'm sad to say, but Wizards of the Coast already won. They have too much industry influence and domination. They can afford too many lawyers. Even the other companies that can mount a lawsuit against them, good luck. I hope you have faith in the court system and the people who are running it to be able to make sense of any of this role-playing mumbo-jumbo when they're presented with it, and just not side with the giant megacorp anyway, like is normally, but not always, what happens. But like I said, my system doesn't use D&D rules at all. It's very divorced. As a shorthand, I will describe it as like an OSR version of a White Wolf game that never existed. But even that's just like a shorthand to kind of like give you something to hang it on. But it's not really White Wolf's rules either. It's its own thing. It's very generic. I don't think, just like with D&D, can't really copy my own rules. So do I really need to put out an OGL in case someone wanted to write a game that used a rule system that was very, very similar to mine? I mean, I don't really care unless you're trying to do the exact same books and premises I'm doing. But the dice mechanics and what you call your attribute scores, sure, rip me off. That's flattering. I just don't know why. Aside from the fact that there's this cottage industry of shared product, everyone's got their same rule system, so everyone just uses the same thing, and so that caters to kind of like a intellectual laziness that's on out there. I've always noticed, not even with my own stuff, but with like other things, trying to get people to try to play other games over the many years, is that there's a whinginess of like, I don't know those rules. Is it safe to try to game master it? Oh my God, is it gonna bite me in the ass? It's all the same shit, guys. You're just establishing tension with your audience in the form of the players by giving them stakes in the form of the fact that their hit points are under threat. That's all there is to any role-playing game. Use the dice to make it fair, so you're not taking sides because the dice don't give a shit. It uses some gambling mechanics to keep people coming back for more. It certainly appeals to collectors. To some degree, anyone who writes role-playing games, myself included, Palladium, Wizards of the Coast, everybody, it's all kind of a little bit of a scam. Gary Gygax himself was famous for saying that, like the big greatest secret is that you don't really need any of these books once you understand the rules. My role-playing games, my rule system is kind of like, I don't spell it out, but it's kind of like teaching you that in and of itself, since I have such an open character creation system where just you know what an occupation is, so pick an occupation, and if you want to make a custom one, give it a title, choose a skill category so that skills would go with naturally, give it an item or two, you're done. Ta-da, character class created. It doesn't need all this fucking 16 pages of fucking mumbo jumbo of what it's like to be a fighter. But I don't why would I saddle myself into this? And why is everyone trying to just repeat the same mistake immediately afterwards? Maybe it's just because it's all you know what to do, but the war is lost. If you want to make a World War II reference, you can, and you want to say that you're going to try to stay in place and be the resistance, fine, that's miserable. The alternative is you can go 1980s Red Dawn style and run off into the hills with form your little clan of Wolverines, do a little training montage, and maybe someday you can come back later and get these rusky bastards out of our backyards. But for the time being, they've gotten what they've wanted. It is true they have so many people already on the D&D thing, and there's going to be so many dupes who come in who are kids who don't know any better, and this is going to be their introduction to D&D, is this thing they're making. That it can't just transition over into this weird, obscure video game for children, they can let the adult audience just go away. They'll make more money selling them $30 subscriptions to idiots than they will selling us books once at a time, and then having to con us all into buying a new round of second edition rule books 8 years later. Or they can just basically run the Fortnite model and make money, and that makes tons of money. So they win. They've destroyed people's ability to come, try to grift on their shadow and make a little money off their name without being officially sanctioned. And it's to their advantage. Like all of us, we're all expendable. They didn't like us DMs. They wanted the players to make the money off of. They didn't like the fact that, like a board game, that only the one person has to own the copy to run the game, and the players are the responsibility of the person who bought the fucking board game. This is like if to play the game of Monopoly with your family, everyone at the table had to have their own box set of Monopoly that they pay $30 a month for to get to play Monopoly with their family. How are you supposed to I've said in the past, I'm kind of iffy about people who teach their kids to play D&D at too young of an age, but even ignoring all that, I know the fact that there are people out there who do that, and I know they have their reasons, and I'm not like burn them for doing so or anything. I just have my second thoughts about it, and but you do you. I'm not telling you how to run your fucking life. But how are you? For the people who are under that, how are you supposed to play D&D with your kids when it's all funneled through your fucking cell phones? But they'll make money, so they'll feel like they're winning, and they'll act like they're winning, and getting everyone to disassociate themselves from it is them winning. It's up to us to see if we can keep the hobby alive, and we do that by we're just gonna have to split up and still all be part of a grand brotherhood of gamers, and maybe be a little bit less tribal about well, I have this one system I like, and that's the only thing I'm ever going to play ever again. Maybe try jumping around between different rule systems. I'm sorry, you might have to learn more than one rule system. I apologize. I feel sorry for you, but I don't. We're role players, specifically people watching this, the people who actually buy this shit. We're dungeon masters. We're supposed to be the smart ones. So, learning more than one rule system shouldn't be that too big of an onus. And quit being such whingy people. I run Palladium? Is it gonna bite me? It's scary. It's the same shit. If you can run D&D, you can run pretty much anything else. So, Christ. Grow up, people. Anyway, I guess on that note, stay waspinated.